Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Heel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about some updates on some DC projects, first off.
Finally.
And we're going to then move on to also DC projects, which is hilarious when I think about it. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of Kite-Man Hell Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is literally a full DC,
I just realized that after.
except for your character spotlight.
100%. And then we're going to be talking about season 1 of Harley Quinn. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we want to discuss is the run times and the names of all the episodes for Penguin have been released. Most of the episodes are in the 50-minute range. There's one that's less than all of them, which is 46. And then obviously the season premiere and the season finale is going to be over an hour. I don't hate it. I think that's cool. I think that's a perfect runtime, personally, for the amount of episodes
honestly,
that they have. It's 8 episodes, so it's about 8 hours total.
Yeah, this is honestly what if you're gonna have short seasons, give us longer episodes.
Which is what they're doing, and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, finally someone's doing it. That's the thing that's honestly, but what has been hurting Marvel and Star Wars lately is they got these short shows, short seasons, and the short episodes are just so short. It's not enough content.
No,
So
I
I mean,
agree.
they can be good episodes, but they could be so much better if they just took the time to dig into it a little bit more.
Yep.
So I mean, that's great. And I mean, I've been seeing so many things online where episode 7 being top hat, everyone's like, oh, so this is he earns his top hat in the season, I just
so it's not even that. It's just it can mean so many different things.
Oh yeah, I mean, we don't know the name. Them given the names of it doesn't mean anything.
That the Mad Hatter is supposed to be in the second one, or am I incorrect on that? The second Batman movie, I mean.
I don't remember.
I know
honestly.
They were adding a decent amount of villains, more so than I was expecting. I just can't remember because the top hat thing for me went to top hat for him, but then I was like, well, maybe because this is different, because he's, you know what I'm saying? He's in a. I'm like, are we targeting top hat as Mad Hatter gets introduced?
I mean, it's
a possibility.
It could,
but it's not flat out completely ridiculous. I'm only saying that because doesn't one of them escape out of Arkham to join the fight?
For what?
For Penguin, for one of the leading people to be the next person, to be the Dawn, broke out of Arkham.
Did she? Well, not? I know. In the trailer, she said that she got released on good behavior. And remember that scene?
Oh yeah, but isn't it still Arkham though?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. So it was Arkham. Yeah.
So my point I'm making is, it's that's where I went.
Oh, the other villains could be.
Because I'm maybe she met him there and then got him to escape and then used him to try to take out the Penguin. You know what I'm saying?
I think it. I mean, definitely can't. It could happen. I think it's a little bit out of Mad Hatter and Penguin are kind of two different villains, so I don't think Mad Hatter would really fit with the vibe of the show. But
I'm only stating it as somebody who's hired as an assassin.
I'm not I'm definitely not saying it's not a possibility.
But I do understand what you're saying. It's probably less likely than it would be more likely that it would be him getting his top hat, which does make more sense to me. But I do agree that was my first thought of him getting his top hat. But then the second thought was well, maybe they're throwing us for a loop, because people do that. I mean, let's be honest. You put a name of something and it's it's got a double meaning.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so we have all that. I'm still looking forward to it. I think it's next week it comes out.
2 weeks, September 9th. Oh no, week and a half, September 19th. 10 days. Because, technically 11 days, because today's the 8th.
I thought it was... Oh, no, it's the Thursday, and then it's every other Sunday after that.
Correct.
I mean, every Sunday after that, except for the 22nd.
Yeah.
Because they skip... Okay. That's what throws me off.
It comes out the 19th, and then we take a week break, and then it's back the following Sunday.
Gotcha. Perfect. And then Agatha starts that same week as well.
Yep, it starts 2 days before.
Oh, it's the 17th?
Wait, well, actually, no. This is a Thursday. So yeah, yeah, you're correct. Sorry.
Yeah. So
Even though
again,
even
I'm
though
correct.
yes, even though you said that, I was like, okay, it's a Friday, even though I knew it was a Thursday.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so that's fine by me in the sense of no problems there. Mike wanted to announce that apparently James Gunn stated that there's going to be, which we already knew there was going to be a season 2 of
Yeah, we knew
Peacemaker.
that he's been writing it for a
Uh,
while or
Correct.
trying to.
Well, the idea was as soon as Superman was done-ish, he was going to focus on Peacemaker next, which
Yep,
was valid. I think if I remember correctly, I think he said when he was done writing it, Superman, he was then going to start writing on Peacemaker,
yep,
as I believe the actual phrasing he used.
yep. He
Um,
said because people were asking him when season two coming out, and he said as soon as I'm done with Superman, my full focus on is on
so
Peacemaker.
he's given us a time frame now, which is between the second half of 2025. So as Mike mentioned to me, because he doesn't think I own a calendar, that's as early as July and as late as December.
I am
And
so proud of you. You took my words right out of my mouth because you're sitting here going, second half of 2025, just because he says it's in December, okay? 22nd half is a
no,
full year.
well, it's a half a year actually. Um,
Yes.
well, he's talking about it anyway. But yeah, so I get your point you're making. I'm just stating like until I get like a firm date, I'm not going to be as excited. Like, I mean, I'm excited that it's at least being like we're now feeling like it's actually getting somewhere now.
The
Because like
the
for a
way the
while,
way I'm seeing it is like DC in terms of movies and major shows. Like
yeah,
obviously it's still coming out with the animated stuff, and the animated stuff we have to catch up on. But DC with their animated stuff is seriously top notch. They do
uh,
really good stuff with their animated.
I'm
But
gonna
like
100% agree with you on that. There's
but
gonna
like
be
their movies and shows, like I mean, it's been a while.
it's been a hit and a miss. Like sometimes they're really good. When they're good, they're phenomenal.
Yeah. I
And then
mean,
when they're
the
bad, they're
last
really bad.
the last few movies that have been like big hits was Suicide Squad, which
Mhm.
didn't get a really big theatrical run because of COVID. And then before that was the show was Peacemaker, I think. I don't think there was anything else that was like big
I
for
think
live
you're
action stuff.
I think you're 100% correct.
So I
Um,
mean,
well, yeah,
we've had we've
because
had
everything else I was thinking of was animated, so I stopped myself. But
oh yeah.
um,
As I mean, obviously we had the Flash, we had Aquaman. Uh,
yeah, and again, like those didn't do as well as everyone thought they were going to be, myself included. I thought the Flash was actually going to be really good. Um,
I thought the Flash was better than it was because of the fact that because it went through so many problems and rewrites and all this other
so
stuff that like
so,
it ended up exceeding my expectations.
and I think because I didn't know that as much, I knew about like the stuff with the guy who plays the person who plays the Flash. I understand that, but like that's all I knew about the problems. So like for me, I was just like, I was super excited about Michael Keaton being Batman again, right?
Oh yeah,
Like that was my big thing, and we got him, and I was not mad about the rendition of him that we got.
I mean, you were just upset that you saw him get killed over and over again.
Yes, yes, that was that because I personally thought he carried the movie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I understood, like it was explained why he kept dying, so it's like it wasn't like it didn't make sense. I just still wasn't happy with it.
yeah. No,
Um,
yeah,
but yes,
but
we had all that going on. We also had oh no, that was it. That was it for those stuff.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, Peacemaker is second half of 2025. I can't wait. First season was phenomenal.
oh yeah,
Uh,
100%. Yep. Like all joking
yeah,
aside, I was very impressed with it.
I'm
Um,
just curious because I know that this is where it starts getting iffy because the DCEU is over. Peacemaker season 1 was a part of the DCEU. So where is this going to lie in terms of the universe? It
well, that's the whole thing too, where it's like, yeah. I mean, I'm curious on that one.
This is where
But
it's going to start getting iffy. Like we're blending things in like, and it's going to be can Gun pull it off?
oh, 100%, and that's gonna be the tough thing right there, where it's gonna be like, what's going to happen on that front. And I'm very curious on that because I don't know. I don't have any like I
Everything
don't
good?
huh?
Everything good?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Something popped up on my thing and I'm trying to look at it.
Oh.
But anyway, so no, my whole thing is it's like I'm actually excited for it because season one was great. I enjoyed it. I think there was, I don't think there was anything I actually disliked about it. I think
No.
my only issue I had with it was that we weren't sure we were getting a season two,
Yep.
and we didn't know where this lied in general.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
meaning like, well, we did and we didn't at the same time. It was one of those weird things where it's like we sort of knew where it was going, but at the same time we don't. You know what I'm saying?
the fate of the show really came down when we found out that the DCU was and DCEU was coming to an end.
Yes.
When the Snyderverse was coming to an end.
And we
So
didn't
we
know where
didn't
this was
know.
going and what was going to happen and all that shit.
Yeah. So like there was that whole controversy where like, oh, Peacemaker's ending, even though it's such a great show. Harley
Hmm.
Quinn was going to end because it was such a great show. But
Yep.
when we found out they were still continuing, that's great. But obviously, like I said, we'll see what happens when the after it is. I'm assuming this is going to come out after Superman because obviously Superman comes out in July.
I
So
would so I would assume the same thing. I would personally, I would say probably the earliest September.
I would
Um,
my thought was September or October for this show.
well,
At least that's the aim.
I would think like depending on where they're going with it, they might have it more Halloweeny.
Could
Um,
possibly be. Yeah.
but we'll see. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it was good the first time. I'm expecting it to be just as good or better,
Yeah.
which should be expected.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll wait and
Absolutely.
see. Let's move on to Kite-Man Hell Yeah. So this episode was not what I was expecting. But so this is we're going to be talking a little bit about Harley Quinn and Kite-Man in this, and I do apologize because there's certain things that I want to mention. There's been multiple people who have voiced Lex Luthor. I found out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
so I wasn't once I so I was disappointed originally with this episode because I was like they replaced him.
Like
It's a different.
you were upset that they've changed his voice actor.
I changed that they changed his voice actor mid-season. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing was like I understand why all that stuff, right? So originally I was a little disappointed. I wasn't mad, but I was definitely disappointed. I was like, oh, I kind of thought we weren't going to see Lex anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just
I
to,
remember talking about that last week.
correct,
Obviously,
right? However, I'm bringing up Harley Quinn only for the Lex Luthor piece of this because then I was like, oh, they've changed
because
it
when
multiple times. You know what? I'm less irritated.
we found this out when we rewatched season one this week. So
Yes. So my whole
so
thing is it's like so
do
like
you?
I'm less irritated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't irritated. I was more like,
I
okay,
was more I guess is the
I
best way
noticed the
it
voice
was
change.
I was disappointed, I guess. Like it wasn't like it didn't ruin anything, like it didn't ruin the show. Like it didn't ruin the show at all. I'm just stating like, "Oh, I'm kind of sad. I thought they would have at least waited to season 2." That's just me.
I mean, like I said in the last episode, it was one of those things where the way the story was going, they really couldn't. I mean,
I get it, but it's like it I yeah. I understand
it's
what you're
not like
saying.
his story had finished at the end at that episode, and like
Yeah.
they could just move on. Like, he was still a major part of the plot.
I
So
get it.
like, um, it's not like he played a part in the first episode where it was like, oh, he just showed up and said his like, oh, I can't wait to kill Superman, and then he shows up later at the end of the season and like doing something completely different, just to
Correct.
appear.
No, I got you.
Um,
But you understand what I'm
but
saying. It was
do
just a little.
you do
I'm sorry.
you do you remember who voiced him in season one?
Of Harley Quinn?
Yes.
Yeah, Moff Gideon.
Okay.
No, I noticed.
Yeah,
As soon as I heard it right away, I was like, "Wow, he literally was in everything."
he really was.
And it's funny
Every
because
single bad
the funny
guy.
thing is too, I literally heard his voice, and I was like, "Cause so it's not that I didn't recognize him right away. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like the Lex Luthor I know," and then it
Hmm.
clicked in my head. Oh, again, it wasn't that I didn't recognize him. I was so focused on the guy who died recently
Yep.
that I
Yep.
wasn't even thinking like of somebody else being Lex Luthor. So then I listened to it and I was like, oh, okay. Um, but yeah, so this episode was basically um, Kite Man and Golden Glider are still on the run with the anti-life equation.
Yep. And
Um,
Darkseid is closing in on them.
yep. And Malice lies for them,
Yep. She puts her own life at risk.
which is funny because she's an immortal, which is always a weird thing to me.
I mean, she's immortal, but I mean, she also kind of she gets her powers from Darkseid. So
I know it's one of those weird things where it's like there's always a loophole, but you understand the point I'm making. So it's like out of anybody who could destroy her, yes, Darkseid is one of them for sure.
yeah, that's for sure.
Um, So the other thing I want to discuss too in this, so it's basically they were on the run from with the anti-life equation. There was a big hiccup with the anti-life equation in general. We will discuss further in a minute. However, the main topic of the story was that, and apparently Bane being a parent.
Yeah. I love that. Like I said, I love Bane in this universe.
So yes, 100% yes. However, I didn't think we were still going to have the Goldilocks thing going on.
I wasn't expecting that either. So when I saw her pop up and Bane is still going around telling a story about his escape from the pit, just all the moms around hearing the
What
story.
happened? What happened to the prince? What happened? And he's like, oh, okay. Um, yeah, so we're gonna go in more detail now. I just wanted to go like the brief overview because it was literally like Bane and the whole Noonan's thing, and then we had Kite Man and Golden Gliders in the anti-life equation were kind of like two separate story arcs, I guess is the best way to phrase it.
Yeah.
So with Kite Man and Golden Glider, um, he chooses to keep the briefcase because he won't be affected by it. However, I will say that they definitely did good writing wise because for a second I thought we were getting beast mode again because I thought he wanted the the pickup truck.
Oh.
So like for a split second I thought maybe he was turning like he thought it was going to affect him and then it was going to. Um, and then once we saw him in the chicken coop truck, I was like, nope, 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 we're back to normal.
No, I mean, honestly, I knew beast mode was kind of done. I just,
But because of that short instance, I was like, because we hadn't seen him actually hold it,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I was like, maybe it can still influence him, right? So it didn't obviously, but there was I will give them credit. They gave me a split second because even Golden Glider makes the point of being like, I thought you were talking about the pickup truck. He's like, no, this is better. Which to be fair, it was better. No, it
Sure.
was because let's be honest. Who would look in the chicken coop? Nobody.
Who's gonna look in the chicken coop? But apparently, chickens want power too.
Yeah. So
So,
then the chicken imbowed with the power of the anti-life equation and went into monster chicken, which then turned into gigantic chicken, like Godzilla chicken, after eating it.
we got a Kaizu chicken.
Yeah. We got like a monster chicken to begin with, and then we got Kaiser chicken. Um, so
Something
delicious.
so if you're gonna tell me at the beginning of the season that we were gonna get a giant chicken going on a rampage because of the anti-life equation, I would have said you're pulling my leg. And
Honestly, this whole thing that we would have gotten a villain that was literally just Jeff Bezos in a skirt, um, and and um, and Darkseid doesn't drink alcohol, and
and
he
he's a fan of human golf.
yes, which is a whole nother thing, and he's got a gospel choir,
Yeah, no,
and
definitely wouldn't have gone in this direction.
and Bane would be my favorite character. Um,
Well,
I will,
Bane, we got a hints of before.
yeah,
We
but
had
he
hints
never.
from him being.
But to be fair, and I will admit, and we'll talk about this when we talk about season one, he was never, that I can remember, a big enough character where he was more of like the one liner and gone. And him having like major character arcs has been so friggin' funny that I would not think he would be my favorite character.
So like when the show started, we said Kite Man is just a joke character, so this is all going to be jokes.
Which we
So
weren't 100% wrong.
no, so the fact that Bane in Harley Quinn was a joke and
Yes.
coming into the show now just amping that up, it makes sense.
No, I'm not arguing that it doesn't make sense, but you can understand my thought process of Bane being the bigger villain,
Yeah. Oh
that
yeah,
maybe he would have
absolutely.
been a little bit different. And again, first off, the
Uh,
chemistry is perfect, and I'm not going to argue any of that. I'm just stating that I, I I wasn't expecting me to one like him, and two, he be the funniest character of them all.
I mean, if we're gonna, I mean, just obviously, I completely agree with you. Like, I completely agree with you. But even still, like going at like the show just really proved us just took us for a ride because at the very beginning of the season when they showed Darkseid in the trailer, we were like, how is Darkseid gonna get in? Like, how is Darkseid gonna work for this show? And
Correct.
he's been great.
Honestly,
With
it
the
was
2 seconds he's been in it, like he's been great.
it's been the perfect amount of him because he can't be there for too long, which
Oh yeah.
I 100% agree. However, it blows my mind how good it is.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
it's just so funny because he's just like irritated because it's like the choir's following him around and it's like, will you leave me alone?
but it's like at the same time, it's like you made them.
This was your doing.
Like 100%, it was his doing. And but anyway, so yeah, so we have that going on, and they obviously get the briefcase out of the chicken by getting his head stuck in the Ferris wheel. No, I'm
Yeah.
not making that up. Um, and even that was typical slapstick, where he gets the hammer slammed on his crotch. Like it was perfect, right? So we finally get the anti-life equation, and it ends with them having the anti-life equation again,
Again.
and like not going anywhere further with that at that point. So I did forget to mention one thing. Malice comes to help them out with it, and Cheshire is supposed to deal with the chicken, and the chicken kicks Cheshire's butt.
Oh yeah.
Bad.
Yep.
I was shocked by that.
No, honestly, as soon as I saw Cheshire go in there, I was like, Cheshire's getting her butt kicked. And
But
then
so here's my thing. It wasn't so much that I thought it was going to win. I was more of thinking like I didn't think it was going to sustain injuries like it did.
I definitely wasn't expecting the injuries. I just knew the chicken was going to win.
Because it was
Um,
endowed with the power of the anti-life equation, yes, I agree with you.
mm.
However, I just wasn't expecting her to come out bleeding.
Oh
Like
yeah.
literally looking like she was dead.
I do want to point out that to go off of like go back for a second for Darkseid, the reason why Darkseid was here in the show, he's still looking for the anti-life equation,
But
which,
that
like you
wasn't the reason
said,
why he was there. That was not the reason why he was there.
so which you said that as you said that Malice had lied, saying that she didn't know where it was, and the Kite-Man were doing their own thing, whatever. But the reason why Darkseid was visiting Malice in the first place was
Because
because
it
it
was
was
the
the anniversary that he killed her parents.
yes,
And he comes and visits her every year to remind her that he killed her parents.
yes. Mike's not wrong.
and and that he could take the power of the cat away from her.
Yes.
so
So anyway, we then
so just nice little nonchalant like, hey daughter.
pretty much. So then we have Darkseid actually meets with the CEO of Villigans and Lex Luthor,
hmm
where they both back down and were like, "We'll do what you say, Lord Darkseid." And he's like, "You better tell me when you find it, or else there'll be hell to pay."
Which is where he finds out that Malice either was misinformed or lied to him.
Well, actually, what's funny is the choir says that she was misinformed or she didn't know, and Darkseid was the first one to be like, "She lied,"
Yeah. Oh
which
yeah.
is hilarious to me because you would think it would be the opposite. However, it makes sense because it's Darkseid.
hmm Oh
But
yeah.
anyway, so yeah, so we have that. He then realizes, so he's now tracking Malice around because Cheshire,
Cheshire.
Cheshire, sorry, is his creation, so he can keep track of where the cat is, which means he can then keep track of where Malice is.
hmm
But he does this after she had already gone to the anti-life equation. So
Yep.
he just thinks she's at Noonan's again, which is fair because that is technically where she is. We then have Lex Luthor come in to try to beat the information out of Noonan's place. And that's where Bane comes in and starts beating up the LexCorp guys. And it's just the perfect fight scene that was so stupid but funny at the same time.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that was pretty much. Oh no! So the only other thing that I didn't mention was Goldilocks went to the bathroom, did number two, and is somewhere in the past.
Yep, she got sent back to the past, and Bane is devastated.
Yeah.
I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, go
But
to
I
the
also want to mention that
bathroom.
there are now two people in the past, and we have not seen them since.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you can't say we've seen Goldilocks since, seeing that she only just went there.
I know, but you understand the point I'm making, though. There was
I
there,
understand where the first one we have yet to see. We have yet to see
so I'm
Golden
wondering if
Glider's
we're not
mother.
even going to see them at all.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's the whole thing, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't anything major
I've
crazy.
no, I've liked this show. I mean, I don't know where the. I mean, I know where the last episode's gonna go. Obviously, Darkseid's gonna come and try to get the anti-life equation, but it's like, if anything else is coming up, I have no idea.
I agree. My guess would be, and granted, I'm very much like Hail Marrying this because this does not mean I'm accurate. But like Darkseid gets the anti-life equation and the Justice League comes to stop it. But like that's too mainstream for this. So it's like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
typically that would be what would happen. However, this is not mainstream. So it's
No,
like I'm
it's got to
definitely
be
not right.
something goofy with Kite-Man, like opening up his heart or something, and Darkseid is like, you know what, you're right, like something.
Or somehow he's able to defeat or like destroy the anti-life equation with his like heart or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah. Wait, I don't remember. Kite-Man hasn't gotten a replacement kite yet, right?
no.
Yeah. Okay. So he's gonna get his kite back.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the only thing that I know for a fact. He's
Yeah.
at the very least, if it's not like a new kite, it's a kite that he's using temporarily.
Oh yeah. Something.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I liked it. I didn't hate it. I mean, it's still funny as heck. I enjoyed it. It was the perfect amount of like comedy is what we were looking for. Like
Hmm.
like my biggest complaint, and it's not even that much of a complaint. And it could. I'll say this because Lex Luthor being changed, I understand why. That was the only bad thing, and I'm putting that in quotes, that I would say about this episode. And even that wasn't
Yeah.
that bad.
No,
But meaning
I'm
like,
not gonna
but you
say.
understand?
I'm not gonna say that's a bad thing. I mean, it's not like the
No,
voice
but you,
actor was a drastic
no,
difference
no, no,
either.
no,
So
no,
I
no,
mean,
no. They tried to sound just like him, which I had no problem with. I'm
yeah.
just stating that like that was my only issue with the episode, and that wasn't really that big of an issue
Yeah.
because it's not like they replaced him because you know what I mean. They fired him. They replaced him because unfortunately it passed.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, all
like
right,
we said 100 times, the show has to continue. You can't always
correct.
just
I just
change
thought
plans because of
I
something bad happening. But
I just thought that because they showed that they were going to not put Lex in for the rest of the season.
mhm.
Again, not the end of the world because they're not utilizing him like at super hard. So I'm not super mad about it if you understand what I mean. Like he's playing a big
Yeah,
role, but he's not like speaking a lot. I guess the best way to phrase it.
yeah.
So I'm
I
not mad
mean,
about that.
yeah,
So anyway, that's Kite Man. We have one more episode left next week, and then it's done for at
yeah.
least for now. So let's talk about Harley Quinn season one. So I'm going to start this off. Basically, this is like Harley Quinn coming into her own, which was exactly how I remember it in the sense of like the first season being like her coming out story, being who she is, and it's
Yep.
just like the trials and tribulations of her doing that. However, a lot of things happened in this season that I thought was spread out more.
I forgot that the Joker got turned back to human in this season.
I also forgot that Kite Man already proposed to her at this point.
Also forgot that too. Yeah.
So I thought that was season
Like,
two.
I'm gonna start this off by saying, like, I forgot how good season one was.
Oh no, season one was phenomenal. I
I forgot how good it was. Like,
when
I have the like I said before, like, I stopped watching partway through season three because I was just kind of disappointed in it. And like, because of that, I forgot how good the first two seasons were. So going back and seeing this, I'm like, I'm giggling and just
well
like
no no 100
laughing, and
percent.
I
But like when I watched
love it.
season one, I was like, oh, this all happened all at once. I thought this was
Oh,
spread out more. Like I legitimately thought like the second half of season one was season two.
hmm, yeah.
Um, but no. So first off, still phenomenal. Still loved it. It was great. It was well done. I liked it the first time I saw it. Loved it more this time. I think because
Hmm.
I forgot. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
not even like as a bad thing, but like I forgot that it
yeah.
was that great. But
And
yeah,
now that we have the knowledge of all these other characters, and like now we like seeing all
like I
this
didn't
stuff.
realize like Noonan's got introduced right away.
Yep, Yep, I
Like
forgot about that.
Kite-Man being in Noonan's. I knew like it was gonna be brought up, but for some reason I thought it was later. Like I forgot. They legitimately could have done Kite-Man after season one, and it would have worked technically.
Almost, yeah, for the
I
most
mean, like
part.
obviously some things are different, and we'll see later as I watch the rest of them again. But
I
I'm
mean,
like,
obviously Harley and Ivy aren't a thing yet.
no, but I believe that was season two though.
No, that was season 2. Yeah, season 2
Um,
they were like playing with the idea, and season 3 was when
but
they
I
were
think season
officially a
two, the
couple.
end of season two, they officially like are like, let's do this. And then
Yeah.
season three, it's like their relationship, if I remember
Yep.
correctly. And then after that, I don't think I definitely didn't see season four. I finished the first three seasons, if I remember correctly.
I don't think you finished season 3. I think technically I was still ahead of you.
Were you? I thought I was ahead of you by like. I thought I was ahead of you. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
You might have been. You might have been. I mean,
But
if you got ahead of me and you didn't say anything to me, it's possible.
it's possible. But anyway, either way, we
Besides the
definitely.
point.
It's not the point because clearly we don't remember it as well as we thought.
Yep.
For
Which is
good
typically
reasons.
the case.
No, agreed. Doctor Psycho, phenomenal. Clayface,
Yeah.
Clayface is incredible. My question for you is: I rewatched obviously season one, like you did. Do you remember how King Shark got into it?
Him being the tech guy?
So he was just he. They asked him to be there for be his tech, correct? Originally.
Yeah.
Okay, because for whatever reason, that little piece I missed, like mentally, because all of a sudden he was there doing the tech stuff, which I remembered, but I was like, how did he get here? Like,
He
did I
literally
miss it?
just walked in the front door and Clayface was like, "Hey, I know this guy."
All right, so I'm not crazy. Like, it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
literally came out of nowhere.
no, no,
Like
no.
he just walked up to the apartment,
I'm
knocked on the door, and he walked in.
I'm literally watching it going. I've been paying attention, and yet I don't know where this guy came from. So I feel better. However, love King Shark in this. He's hilarious. He's voiced by a great comedian that I like.
Oh, is
Um,
he?
oh yeah, he he is a phenomenal. I like all the characters. There's not a single character I don't like. That's
Hmm.
part of the main cast. There's obviously side characters that I think suck and stuff like that. That might not be the best rendition. However, it works for the show because they're not meant to be serious.
Yeah. Also, I mean, kind of going with the voice actor change, but the Queen of Fables. Now that you say that, the voice actress did change. I
Yes, but
noticed
I
that.
but I said that at the beginning of Kite Man.
No, you did. You did.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like I know, because it's been so long, I didn't
correct.
remember. Now, hearing the two shows side by side, definitely hear the difference.
But I also like too, like even though it's the same voice actor for Bane, it's clearly shown that he's grown into the character more now than in season
Oh
one.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
season
they've
one, don't get me
definitely
wrong,
they've made him more of a goofball. I mean,
correct. But I mean,
yeah.
but you understand the point I'm making, just in general. Like, oh wow, like it's the same guy, but it's like that's kind of cool.
And I mean, in season 1 of Harley Quinn, like it was everyone else picking on him, and he's taking himself seriously. Now in Kite Man, I mean,
he's less.
obviously he's
He's
still.
taking himself seriously less. I think he's
Yeah,
realizing the
he doesn't
situation
think
he's in.
he's a joke, but he's portraying himself as the joke more.
Yep.
Like obviously
Um,
he still thinks he's a serious character, but obviously he's not. But
all right. Question for you: what was your favorite episode?
I liked the last 2 episodes. The final fight with like
No, no, I know
that
what you're
build
talking
up.
about. Honestly, so here, don't get me wrong, I love them. I'm not arguing that.
Hmm.
I don't think it was my favorite episode. I think my
Okay.
favorite episode was when they were in the mines. Granted, I know there were two separate episodes, but bear with me. The episode where they go in Harley's mine and the episode they go into Ivy's mine.
Oh, okay.
I,
I
lo-
liked
I
the episode. I liked the episode where they went into Harley's mind, just the whole psychological thing, and just like how the mini Harleys are chasing him, and then what Frankie Muniz getting the restraining order, and she's like, "Oh, that's why I went to juvie."
because she was looking at her repressed memories and she's like, ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now I remember. Um, but yeah, so I mean that was cool, but it was also like done in a great way. Like I also like when Clayface loses his hand and it becomes a baby. Like
Oh
that was
yeah,
cool. But like
and
the
then
episode as a
Gordon's
whole
like, "You're
wasn't
my
really
new friend."
like Gordon is hilarious and he shouldn't
I
be,
don't.
but like it's perfect.
Yep.
Um
just a beat down cop, and it's
But
like his only friend is Batman.
but I also like too, like when Harley Quinn teleports herself into the Batcave, and he's like, "Why are you here? Gordon and I are just work buddies." And he's like, "She's like,
Screen shaver.
he's like, did my screensaver just start? Yes. Damn.
No, the show's got a perfect blend of like comedy. I'm not going to say seriousness because there are
Well,
serious moments, but the point of the whole show is not meant to be serious.
I will definitely say that obviously Harley Quinn is more serious than Kite Man for sure.
Oh yeah,
However, I still don't consider it to be a serious show. Not to say
no.
that it isn't good; it is still phenomenal. But I'm actually looking forward to watching season 2.
Oh yeah,
Um,
cannot wait.
so that's going to be next week. But I don't think there's really much to say. I mean, it was very good. We got introduced to all the characters. I forgot that all of them get introduced in this season for some reason. I thought King Shark was later. I thought King Shark was later.
Oh no, 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 definitely not.
So
I knew they were
I
all in
remember
season one.
I remember. See, I just couldn't remember. But you also have to remember too that I thought the second half of season 1 was season 2. So like you know what I'm
Also true.
saying? So it's like
Yeah.
uh, that's
I mean the only thing like that I really forgot was I forgot how Clayface got introduced. So I forgot that he was the bartender at Noonan's. And then I forgot
yes.
that Dr. Psycho was like basically exiled from villainy
No, so
because he
his
dropped C word.
no, that one I couldn't forget. That one was the only one I couldn't
I
forget
completely forgot. I
because
just completely forgot.
they make jokes about it throughout the entire series that I can't forget it. Where they don't mention King Shark's or Clayface's origin like as
Yeah,
much
yeah,
because it's not as funny.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't forget too. It's been a longer since I've seen the Harley Quinn than you have. You
That's
started
also
watching
true.
it later than me.
That is also true. That is also true. But overall, I mean, anything else you want to talk about on that? Because I think this one was self-explanatory. It was her origin story of being the new
Yeah,
Harley Quinn.
yeah. No, how the group came together, and like you said, the origin story. Now
And
we're gonna
and the
move.
Queen of Fables had her head removed in this season.
Yep, we found out how she got headless.
Which I feel like I remembered it. However, I again thought it was later in the series.
I definitely thought that was later. I forgot she teamed up with Joker, so I
I
forgot that sequence.
100% did too.
I remember the wolf, and I remember
Yes,
Harley Quinn cosplaying as the wolf. But
also true. But there were pieces that I wasn't remembering.
yeah, I forgot that was at this moment.
Yeah.
So I'm
Um.
looking forward to season 2 again. Like I said, I forgot how good this show was, so I'm looking forward to it,
Yeah.
and
So
looking
for
forward to the finale of Kite Man.
I mean, I'm going to reiterate this obviously at the end of the episode, but we're going to be talking about the season finale of Kite Man and the season 2 of Harley Quinn. But let's get right into my character spotlight, unless you have something else to say.
No, let's move on to your character.
So, Mike, does the name William Kaplan ring a bell to you?
Not really.
Okay, well, to be fair, this character has kind of sort of been in the MCU, and you'll understand when I go with this person's origin story. Okay?
Okay.
Is it ringing a bell now that I've said that? Is
No.
somebody's name ringing a bell to you?
I mean, William sounds familiar,
Okay.
but
But
I don't
William's
remember
also
the
a
last
regular
name.
name, so it's like, okay. I will give you the first name should give you something. The last name should give you nothing. Um,
Okay, so
yeah, yeah, but you know what? There's a reason for that, and you'll understand. So anyway, we have William Kaplan. Okay, he is one of the twins from Vision and Scarlet Witch.
oh, okay.
But you'll understand in a minute how this goes. So
Is this
during,
the one that you're thinking is gonna be in Agatha?
I will discuss that during this, and
I
I
just ended his
appreciate.
spotlight.
Actually, no, you didn't. Because I'm going to talk about the comic book history and then I'm going to talk about that piece. So you didn't ruin the whole thing. So, anyway,
Okay.
during her marriage to Vision, the Scarlet Witch used her reality altering powers to create twin boys, William and Thomas, from two lost souls. Later, Mephisto reclaimed those lost souls. However, their souls had been so transfigured by Wanda's magic that they destroyed the demon and dispersed. The soul of William was apparently reborn in Billy Kaplan, the eldest son of three to Reformed Jews Jeff Kaplan, who's a cardiologist, and Rebecca Kaplan, a psychologist, living in the Upper West Side of New York City. Billy had trouble with bullies in school due to his sexuality. Once, while he was sitting in front of the Avengers mansion, he briefly met Scarlet Witch, who happens to be his favorite Avenger. She gave him some words of encouragement and told him that he could take care of himself. Billy took her advice and stood up to the bully, John Kelser. Unfortunately, Billy's electrokinetic powers emerged for the first time while protecting another student. Excuse me, by protecting another student, and because of that, nearly killed the school bully. He sought out Scarlet Witch for help, only to find out that the Avengers had disbanded. Billy met Teddy Altman. Now, do you know who Teddy Altman is?
That sounds familiar.
Teddy Altman is called Hulkling. He's part of the Young Avengers, and he is a Kree Skrull hybrid,
Oh, okay.
hmm who lives on Earth. So have that with you. So he can shapeshift, so he kind of sort of fits in. The reason why they call him Hulkling is because when he transforms, he kind of looks like a little Hulk, even though it's really a Skrull and Kree combination. But anyway, he meets
That's
Teddy.
racist.
I think it's speciest.
That's yeah, okay. I'll give it to you.
I mean, if we're gonna classify me as something, let's get it right. So anyway, Billy met Teddy in school, and they bonded over comic books. Billy attended Teddy's football games, where he met Teddy's mother. After he almost killed um, the after he almost killed the bully. Sorry, Teddy found Billy outside the Avengers mansion, and they each revealed their powers to one another, and they kissed for the first time.
Why was that? Why was that necessary?
Because it adds ambiance. So anyway,
Oh, sure.
do you know who Iron Lad is? I think I've talked about him before.
You have talked about him.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's a younger version of Kang the Conqueror who found Billy using the Avengers Failsafe program compiled by the Vision to be used to form a new team of superheroes in the event of the destruction or disbanding of the Avengers. Iron Lad requested his help in preventing his future self from returning him to the future where he would eventually become Kang. Alongside his new boyfriend, Teddy, Billy joined the Young Avengers. He chose to style himself after Thor and adopted the superhero identity of the Asgardian. As the Asgardian, Billy chose to only use his electricity-based powers, but um, during a fight with Kang Ironlad and then Patriot, asked him to use his other powers. Finally, he admitted to being a spellcaster and disabled Kang's force field. Vision also revealed that Billy and Teddy are both related to members of the Avengers. After the battle, fellow Young Avengers Kate Bishop and Cassie Lang suggested that Billy changed his code name from Asgardian to Wiccan to reflect his new powers, and Billy agreed. Billy tried to tell his parents about that he was an aspiring superhero, but it turned out his parents thought that he was coming out to them,
I
which he
mean,
did. He
yeah.
did, but they had no problem with him being a homosexual. They had more problems with him and his boyfriend both being metahumans. One of which not even a human.
All right. I mean, I guess that's fair.
I just find it funny, although they still love him. However, they were just surprised and taken aback.
Concerned.
Because they thought he was just coming out. And in a way, he was doing both. So, anyway, yeah,
Oh.
welcome to my world, right? So, during the failsafe program, um, Wiccan actually teams up with another young Avenger known as Speed, who's actually Tommy Shepard. And a lot of the young Avengers are like, you guys look like you're twins. And it comes to find out that he is actually technically the twin of him. However, they were separated because their souls were reincarnated in other bodies. Um, and obviously, because he's Speed, he has all the same powers or similar powers to Quicksilver. But they then were part of the Civil War. During the Civil War, the Young Avengers were arrested by S.H.I.E.L.D. However, Falcon and Captain America intercepted the S.H.I.E.L.D. bus, which was transporting them, and Wiccan teleported the team out of the situation to their resistant base of operations. When the Runaways tried to stay out of the conflict, they barely managed to escape from the government forces. Hearing of this development in the news, the Young Avengers decided to help the Runaways, even though Captain America told them not to, because it's very bad. Wiccan used his magic to locate and teleport to the Runaways, who helped them out. Um, and although the Runaways believed that the Young Avengers were there to capture them, once they started fighting each other, they realized, oh, we're actually working together. My bad. Wiccan was also among the secret Avengers who took part in the first major battle of the Civil War and was one of the first two casualties, which was interesting. I didn't realize he died there. But anyway, we then have all this stuff going on in the Civil War where he really obviously wasn't a part of it for obvious reasons. He then was resurrected slash healed because apparently he actually wasn't dead. Typical superhero stuff, right?
Hmm.
So he began searching for the Scarlet Witch. He and Tommy, who he finds out is sort of his brother, the pair searched through Genosha, Wudag, Wundagore, and a bunch of different places to try to find the Scarlet Witch. But nobody seemed to know where the actual Scarlet Witch was. And as funny as it is, their search was pretty much short because they couldn't find her, which I find to be hilarious. Um, they also had an issue with the Secret Invasion when the Skrulls invaded Earth because Wiccan joined the other Young Avengers and the Runaways on the front lines of the battle, where Wiccan and Speed saved Hulkling, who is the who's Teddy, from execution and later assisted in rescuing him again. Because he got captured once again. Because to be fair, he is a Skrull, or at least part Skrull, and so they thought he was part of the invasion when he actually wasn't. But to be fair, out of all things, that makes the most sense. Wiccan gathered the Young Avengers together at the Avengers Mansion to respond to a wave of supernatural chaos caused by Chithan, who is the creator of the Darkhold. After being disclaimed of his position of the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange visited Wiccan to discuss his potential candidacy of becoming the Sorcerer Supreme. When the Hood found Strange and engaged him in a magical combat to claim the Eye of Agamotto, Wiccan aided him, and contrary to Strange's orders to flee, Strange teleported away with Billy and left him seeking help with the new Avengers. Wiccan, alongside the other Young Avengers, helped rescued the Fallen from Asgard during the siege, and together he and Hulkling also battled the Wrecking Crew. We then have him join the regular Avengers. He went toe to toe against Doctor Doom. He also worked with Magneto and Quicksilver to try to locate um, Scarlet Witch, who still has not been found yet, which is still funny to me. Um, Iron Lad rejoins the Young Avengers to help out to try to stop Doctor Doom from destroying everything. At one point, Wiccan leaves the Young Avengers around the time. So Wiccan was dealing with a lot of depression, and he wanted out because he was done with all the stress and everything else, right? However, he stopped being depressed, and I very much hesitate saying it this way. However, this is how it's phrased. But he got out of his depression state because his boyfriend proposed to him.
Okay.
I know, I don't like how that's phrased just because, although it's a happy moment and I get it, he's not cured of his depression.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it got suppressed for a little bit, but like
Correct.
it's
You get my
still
point.
there.
You understand the point I'm making, right?
Yep.
So during this time, before they quit, the Young Avengers were then claimed to be part of the regular Avengers by Captain America. Then both Wiccan and Hulkling retired from being superheroes. And shockingly, I don't know if this is going to be like a shock to you, Mike, but they got brought back into being superheroes again pretty quickly.
They always do.
So apparently, they were unexpectedly brought back to the fray in an attempt to bring back Hulkling's dead mother, who accidentally let an interdimensional parasite called Mother, not even making this up, masquerading as Hulkling's mother into their world.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, just
Now,
typical stuff.
the parasite's arrival has been a consequences of Loki's manipulations. Now, this Loki is the young version of Loki who is part of the Young Avengers. So this isn't the Loki you know, if you understand what I mean.
I mean, yes, I do understand.
Okay.
Um,
Just want to make sure.
Still weird.
Yeah, he was punished and put into a he was reborn and he had to live his life again and he joined the Young Avengers as a young Loki. So I think he's a teenager, maybe early 20s at this point, at least being portrayed wise. But anyway, shockingly, Loki betrays the mother parasite and helps the Young Avengers and takes them out. Loki trained Billy to prepare him for fights in the future, which I find funny, but it does make sense because Loki is a very powerful sorcerer.
Hmm.
They then create the New Avengers, which consists of Wiccan, Teddy, who is Hulkling, Songbird, Power Man. Um, who's the other one? Who is that? Kate Bishop, and there's somebody else that I cannot for the life. Oh, Speed, but there's somebody else that I don't recognize. Anyway, not the point. And they kind of become the new Avengers to help the world out, right? So they face a bunch of villains, a lot of supernatural stuff, which I find interesting. Not a lot of like typical Avengers stuff, which I find very interesting.
Hmm.
Um, he then, um, sorry, Wiccan and Hulkling then leave the Avengers and join a team called the Cookie Quartet, who consist of four members and um, how do I say this? So it's Billy, Hulkling, Squirrel Girl, and a giant squirrel.
Huh.
Yep. And then obviously Hawkeye replaces the squirrel, not Squirrel Girl, but replaces the squirrel at one point.
The
Um,
giant squirrel.
Correct.
Okay.
Assisted numerous. When I say giant, he's not. He's like human size or like child size, so it's still giant for a squirrel, but
Giant
not
for a squirrel.
yes, but not giant. If you understand what I mean. But anyway, so they've also helped out like a bunch of Avengers as well, along with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, who he surprisingly finds eventually. Um, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Um, apparently, while at a concert, he and his husband come across Death's Head, which led to a fight, and Wiccan used a spell to lock him in their bedroom. And back at their house, Death's Head attacked them and revealed another Death Head. Um, yeah, I got no more to say other than that, but I'm just like, why are we doing this? Um, they've had a lot of adventures together. They've dealt with a lot of things. Wiccan and Hulkling are approached to be representatives of the Kree and Skrull alliance, and at one point they become Hulkling becomes the leader of it all, and obviously Wiccan becomes the sorcerer assistant, still his husband, but you understand the point I'm making. Which is hilarious because they have a royal wedding with the Kree and the Skrulls as part of their treaty. And at one point, Scarlet Witch comes in there to because she's concerned about everything, and he basically tells his mother to back off and like, I know what I'm doing. She's like, fine, I'm not going to get involved, and she surprisingly stays out of it, which I was kind of impressed by
Hmm.
because normally she does not. Um, as as the as part of the Korean Skrull Alliance, Teddy and Billy, Wiccan and Hulkling took part in several galactic spanning events. When the symbiote god Null tried to take over the galaxy, he sent a symbiote possessed members of an Alliance expedition to kill Hulkling. Hulkling and Wiccan were honeymooning at Star Beaches, I'm assuming is a planet, when the planet was besieged by symbiote dragons, and the symbiote possessed crewmen. With the help of Wiccan and the accuser L'Oreal, Hulkling managed to conduct a mass execution of their creatures. When Dormammu possesses Ego the Living Planet, Wiccan and Hulkling teamed up with the Guardians of the Galaxy to prevent the galaxy from being consumed by the Dark Dimension. They split up to simultaneously defend two planets against the mindless army. Wiccan teamed up with Sword to defend Skrolos, while Hulkling defended Thorn World 2 alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy. And that, my friends, is the history of Wiccan. So the idea is this character is going to be introduced in Agatha all along because he gets reincarnated as a new person. And I think that's going to be who this is. I could be wrong, which very well could be the case, but it's leaning towards me being right based on the last trailer.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good with
I
the
mean, to be
way.
honest with you, it sounds almost like the beginnings of his story sound very similar to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Minus the
with the way they
Asgardian.
with the way they showed that trailer, it seems very. It
Correct.
seems to be lining up pretty well.
And
I
it's
mean,
funny,
obviously it'll
but it's
change
also,
slightly, but
but if you notice too, he's also the only male.
was he?
Yep. He's the only
Oh,
male
okay.
witch. He's the only male witch, which is a very specific reason why I think he is Wiccan.
Hmm. Yeah,
But anyway,
we will
so
see.
Wiccan has a. So we're going to talk about his powers. Wiccan has a wide range of superpowers derived from his unconfirmed source. His origins make it possible that Wiccan is both a mage and mutant. His abilities were first triggered when Scarlet Witch was under the influence of the Life Force, used her powers to heal him. However, even accepting that Wiccan is reincarnated son of Scarlet Witch, where exactly his powers come from is still unclear. If it was purely a spiritual reincarnation, then he would not necessarily inherit his mother's mutant genes. Recent questions about Scarlet Witch's parentage make it even less certain that she had an X gene to even pass on, because she might not even be a mutant, which
Hmm.
we all understand that too. Wiccan's
Yep.
powers might also be purely mystical at birthright or derived from Wanda's status as being a Nexus being. Wiccan's destiny as a demiurge, which I believe is sort of like a semi god or semi Nexus being, I think is that what that means, resembles the fate that the Timekeepers worry about if Wanda ever had children, which would make sense. Okay.
Hmm.
He has reality manipulation through his magic, very similar to his mother. He has astral projection. He has the ability to bind people, clairvoyance, concussion blasts, cosmic awareness. He can create things. He has elemental manipulation with electricity, ice, water, light, heat, and fire. He has energy construct creation. He has erasure, which he can, due to his reality warping abilities, he can disintegrate and erase anything from existence. He can fly. He has healing factors. Well, no, sorry. He doesn't have a healing factor. He can heal through his magic. My apologies.
Okay.
He has a mechanical manipulation. He can manipulate machines. He has physical augmentation, power manipulation. He can bestow power onto others. He can amplify people's power, and he can negate people's power. He can teleport. He can create portals, interdimensional teleportation, remote teleportation, and banishments. He has telekinesis. He's a telepath. He has mental manipulation and illusion casting. He can transmutate things, and he's got a demiurge form. Wiccan is able to force himself to tap into his true power by losing connection to all things and becoming a god. Oh, so I wasn't wrong. In this form, Wiccan becomes so powerful that his magical might was able to defeat the interdimensional entity known as Mother. Him in his semi-surge state, halfway tapping into the demi-surge, he was able to stalemate her, and then once he tapped into his true form, holy shoot, he was able to return the multiverse versions of himself and the Young Avengers back to their original universe, erase Mother, and then walk over the multiverse itself. Loki has stated that this power Wiccan could stop all wars, end all things, and even Ragnarok itself would not happen because of it.
Damn.
So this is an interesting weakness that he has. If Wiccan can't hear his spells, they don't work at all.
Huh. Oh, okay. Huh.
Right? It's just weirdly phrased. It gives me Zatanna vibes. But anyway, he was introduced in. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Let me do this. There's a power grid for this. So his intelligence is a 2 because it's considered normal. His strength is a 2 because it's considered normal. His speed is a 2 because it's normal. However, because of teleportation, it's a 7 because it's warp speed. But
Hmm.
you understand what that is. It's only when he teleports. His durability is a 4 because he can regenerate thanks to his healing magic abilities. What I find interesting is his energy projection is only a 5 because it's long range, which I find interesting. And his fighting skill is a 2 because he is a normal fighting person, right? So that, my friends, is William
Hmm.
Kaplan, who may or may not be in Agatha all along. So what's funny is this character was first introduced in 2005 um, as the Asgardian, and then later in 2005 ditched the name Asgardian and became Wiccan, and is still a character to this day.
So he's a rather new character.
Yep. Well, he was created technically during House of M.
Yeah.
Granted, he was just the son of Scarlet Witch, and then
Wanda's son.
obviously
So yeah.
correct. So that's going to be it for today, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Next episode is going to have, like I said, anything that might come up in the news, obviously. But then we're going to be talking about the season finale of Kite-Man Hell Yeah and season 2 of Harley Quinn. And there'll be a character spotlight from Mike next week. So other than that, Mike, we're going to be signing out. So this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Eel podcast. Have a wonderful night and good night. Bye bye.